Good evening, and welcome to Behind the Mystery, the show that teaches you fact from fiction and delves deeper into all of the world's mysteries. My name is Miles Anthony.
And my name is David Richardson. This week, we'll be looking into whether your devices are spying on you, and another member of the audience will see how good they would be as a forensic scientist.
But before all of that, we are going to take you on a journey to find out more about technology in the real world.
This week, we'll be looking into artificial intelligence, how it all works, and whether it could be considered a threat, like it's often portrayed in the movies.
Now, in 2019, artificial intelligence has become bigger and grown further than ever before, with machines being built that are capable of mimicking, monitoring, and having the ability to create similar routines to us. But is it as dangerous as the movies make it out to seem?
Mandela effect, which is insane.
Recently, the Mars rover died, and its last words were something quite powerful. My battery is low, and it's going dark. These pieces of technology are getting smarter all the time, and this one in particular knew it was dying and said that it was getting dark. That is an extremely self-aware piece of technology.
One such piece of artificial intelligence is the GPT-2, a piece of software so powerful that it can find references, write essays and articles, and even build profiles on the people that read its output. That's a computer smart enough to get a degree.
Oh.
Could that be a danger?
I would have quite happy to have had a computer that could do done all my essays for me.
Oh yes. Well, you know, first it's the degree, then it's asking for the 30k basic.
Yeah,
And then before you know it, they're taking over the world.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
Unbelievable.
Killer Toasters next, aren't
Yeah, what more do they want?
Yeah.
Right.
they? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you're a computer.
It has been cited, however, that other potential uses for the technology could be within the police forces of the world, using the system to decide whether or not to hold a person overnight based on a profile of the individual. Do we have to be afraid of artificial intelligence? Well, if we look at what Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and the late Stephen Hawking were saying, yes, they are obsessed with the fact that artificial intelligence is going to destroy our world. They think that at one point we will get to the point where the computers will be so powerful we will lose control of those computers. Now,
And in layman's terms, that is just run for the love of all things.
Basically, that
Run
is exactly what that is.
as far as you can.
I mean, they believe that it will be the extermination
Ooh,
of
it's not a
human
good
life.
word. Good grief. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
These pieces of kit are self-aware, but generally harmless. The portrayal of AI in movies like The Terminator really makes it seem deadly and dangerous. And to be honest, it is possible that one piece of artificial intelligence could grow to dislike its creator or its purpose. But we are certain that for at least a few more years, we are safe from the threat of artificial intelligence.
To introduce a new segment in which we will be discussing a phenomenon that has become huge within media across the past few years: Mandela effects.
We should probably begin by mentioning the origins of this effect and what it means before we delve deeper into the many theories that the internet has discovered.
Firstly, the Mandela effect refers to memories that don't match our current reality and its history. Named after Nelson Mandela, who many believe died in prison in the late 20th century, and many people remembered nearly identical details of the funeral coverage on American, Canadian and British TV.
Obviously, the reality is that he was released in 1990 and became President of South Africa in 1994 before actually dying in 2013. Many Mandela effect believers agree that this phenomenon is caused by accidental travel, although some others propose that history has been deliberately altered by malicious extra-dimensional beings or due to social experiments conducted by the government. Oh, now that is some creepy stuff.
That is,
what do you think about that?
Well, you know, I mean, they talk about the government, you know, being behind a lot of this stuff, and
That government.
you know, it's
At it again.
it's a worry. It's a worry if this is obviously the case.
It really is.
This is involved in the situation.
But I mean, really? Mandela effect? I mean, we were talking about the
I mean, they
Monopoly
are
man.
absolutely crazy, aren't they? Let's be honest.
I've lost their
I mean, you've got your Monopoly fella with your monocle situation, you know,
What are you doing?
and he's not even, you know, got a monocle. But another theory we will be discussing today is the classic line in Star Wars: "Luke, I am your father." is not what is actually said. In fact, Vader says, "No, I am your father." So is this just a misremembered movie line, or did some otherworldly shenanigans take place? This isn't the only Star Wars-related Mandela effect, however, such as
C-3PO isn't completely gold. Many Star Wars fanatics recall C-3PO being completely gold and were greatly thrown off upon discovering that he supposedly had a silver leg the entire time. This isn't helped by the fact that a lot of memorabilia doesn't even feature the silver leg.
None of us can explain these strange coincidences, but it does beg the question, are there alternate realities in which small details differ? Or does the media accidentally make small mistakes that alter our entire perception of reality? Let us know what you think on our Twitter @_BTM Show, and tell us what Mandela effects you would like us to discuss on the show next week.
That was intriguing. Remember to tweet us @_BTM Show with the mysteries you would like to see next week.
But on with the show. It's time for another one of you to attempt to deconstruct a crime scene that we've created.
Hello and welcome to this week's forensic segment. This week we have a brand new crime scene for one of our contestants to investigate. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Allow me to introduce this week's contestant. So, what is your name and where do you come from?
I'm Nero and I'm from London.
So, Nero tweeted in last week, and if you'd like to be on the show, don't forget to tweet on in _BTM Show. So, before we start the crime scene, Nero, I need to brief you on a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to wear these gloves. You need to wear gloves all time when in the scene, just so that any evidence is not tampered with. Please refrain from touching anything in the scene. Please just look and tell me what you see. What we'll do is we'll have a look around the crime scene, and in the end, when you think you've gathered enough evidence, I'll ask you to guess what you think happened. So,
Sounds awesome.
do you feel ready?
I'm ready.
And you come. Okay then, Errol, what are your first impressions of the crime scene?
Looks like someone's come in and trampled on everything, opened stuff, moved stuff about. Looks like a robbery really. It's like moving stuff about, looking for things. And valuable items that whoever's come in has clearly left behind, so maybe not a robbery then. Got a knife over here, so I'm not sure what that's about, but the drawers are still open, so someone's clearly looking for something and just kind of left everything in the mess.
Okay, now, as you quite rightly pointed out, the scene is most likely a robbery. Now, unlike some other crime scenes, there is no body here, which no body means there was no murder or any sort of crime like that. So, well done, you pointed out it's a robbery. Now, over here, you point out there's a knife, and what do you think that could imply about the robbery?
So maybe whoever came in, the robber, brought the knife with him, just in case there was someone home, to maybe use as a weapon and just left it behind if he was in a hurry to leave.
Anything else in that drawer that might be of notice?
It looks like a hat over here, maybe a balaclava because there's a hole in it. So that could be, again, the robbers left behind. There's also an open jewellery box here, and it's empty, so maybe that's what the person or the robber that came in was looking for.
So, as you pointed out, there is an empty jewellery box. Now, the fact it's empty obviously means that the jewellery is stolen. The drawers being open, not much has gone from them, and they look quite tidy still. So obviously, what was inside the drawers is not what the robber was looking for. The gloves, one there and one just down there, could be the homeowners, they could be the robbers. Now, the fact they're taken off could mean anything. It could be the fact that the homeowner or the robber could have just taken them off along with his mask here. Okay, so that's enough of this side of the room. How about over this side of the room?
We've got the window clearly open, so maybe the burglar either came in or out, or even both, through that point of entry or exit. The front door is also open, so that could also be another point of entry or exit. Again, the valuables are left here, so maybe he was looking for something in particular. There's an empty camera bag on the floor with no camera in, so maybe that's what he came for. There's a bag which looks like other valuables have fallen out as well. There's scuff marks along the walls, so maybe he moved the sofas and stuff around to get to whatever he was looking for.
Okay, so you quite rightly pointed out that both the door and window are open. Now generally that could mean because the robber has used both as a means of exit or entrance. Now when burglars enter a house, they generally would open as many windows, doors, whatever they can find as possible. That means they have the most points of exit if it came down to the homeowner being home or an emergency. Now that implies to us that they've escaped through one or two. Quite rightly pointed out also that the bag is filled with valuables. Now they've left quite a few behind, so that could mean that they were came for more than they bargained for, or that they found what they were looking for. Okay, so you notice the scuff marks on that wall there.
Yeah.
What do you think that can mean?
So that clearly shows that the perpetrator, or there was only one perpetrator, because if there was more than one, it would be more easy to move about furniture. So because there's only one of them, kind of dragged it along the wall, leaving the marks. Also, one balaclava left here, so that just tells me there was only one burglar here.
So, the scuff marks, quite right in the fact that it looks like it's from the sofa. The sofa being moved might have been just from clumsiness, or it could be they was looking for something very specific. Now, that could be, you can't really tell what that could be because they're obviously made off with something you can't see. Now, the lamp over there being knocked over also could mean there was some sort of movement over there, a struggle, or sort of move of haste. That could be escaping through the kitchen, or their escape from the kitchen out through this way. Yeah, so, now you've looked at the whole scene, could you give us a guess what you think may have happened?
So I think that was clearly a robbery by one perpetrator, and he clearly took off with whatever he came looking for, because again, like I said, there's valuables left behind. So he clearly came looking for something specific, and he got what he was looking for and took off.
Okay, so you quite rightly guessed that this was a one-man robbery job. Now, so what happened is, the front door opened, the perpetrator initially entered through the front door. They've opened the closest escape route, which allows the same sort of manoeuvrability as the front door did, that window there. They've come in and they've started rifling through those drawers there. Also what they've done is take their gloves off, as well as their face mask. The drawers are relatively kept and tidy, which means that whatever was looking for was not in the drawers. So if they further rifled through the sofa cushions and sort of made a general mess of the surroundings, so they've looked for things. Then, as they were trying to pry the TV off the wall, they realised the TV is attached to the wall and was a much harder job than they first expected. What's happened then is the homeowners then come home and they decided to bolt out that window there, which in doing so they've dropped the bag, spilled out some of the valuables they found along the way. Now we know generally what happened, let's think about what we can do coming forward from this to find out who the perpetrator was. Now the gloves being taken off here generally imply that the door handles and window handles won't have any prints on because they've been used while the gloves are on. The gloves being taken off there means that we can sort of look for prints over these drawer handles, maybe the case for the jewellery and the knife. Now they are probably the best sort of methods we can find some prints from. To find out who it might have been, we can ask the surrounding neighbours and surrounding houses if they saw anyone leave the building around the time it would have been. We wouldn't be wearing as masks, so it's much easier to identify. Yeah. Okay, so Nero here, solve the case. This is where our job on the scene ends. Now, I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you found it very interesting. So join us next week for a new contestant who will be solving our next crime scene. Don't forget to tweet us in at _BTM show to be in a chance of being on next week's show. That's all from us today. Goodbye.
But now, as this week's theme surrounds all things to do with technology and artificial intelligence, we are going to be discussing some other less talked about conspiracies.
Yes, like how we may be living inside a simulation.
Ooh.
Of course, this most probably looks more towards the film world.
Oh,
sci-fi.
Matrix.
You know, Terminator.
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. Eagle Eye. iRobot.
iRobot.
Very much an AI situation, very much a simulation. I suppose you could say the Truman Show in some ways. I mean, you know, that's to a point, you know.
There you go, yeah.
Are we all living in a Truman Show?
Well, that is the question. I mean, who's really watching?
Who is really watching, and what do they know, and what is real and what isn't real? I mean, these are very important things that I think as we get more technology in this world, people are asking that question more often. You
got to start reading the small print.
I think you've got to do more than read the small print now. I think you have to to check to make sure there's nothing in the small print that is beyond the small print.
Just don't click agree to the terms and conditions. This is what I need to say. You know, these contracts are there to be read.
I know, but there's about 700 pages of the damn thing, and they're about this small.
Yeah, literally, someone could literally put Mein Kampf in the iTunes
They could.
terms and conditions.
This is true.
No one would know.
This is true. But that's it for you.
And how about this for irony? Many believe YouTube is bypassing its algorithm in order to stop sharing conspiracy videos as a way of avoiding the mass spread of propaganda. That's another weird one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
What's it to YouTube? People are watching.
I mean, are they saying that this show will now, parts of it will be cut because of the conspiracy situations that we're talking about?
I mean, people are making them because people want to watch them.
Exactly.
That's
I
the
mean,
whole point of
free
YouTube.
speech. Free speech. But if people are then stopping us from using our free speech, I mean, what does that tell you?
Yeah, YouTube, sort your life out.
I mean, that is a concern, and that we're not being allowed to use that. That's a worry. That really is.
Carnage.
It is.
It's quite literally carnage.
It's concerning. But next up, we have two guests coming into the studio to talk all things conspiracy.
Okay, how about we move on to our conspiracy theory for this week? This week on the show, we're going to be talking about household pieces of technology and whether they are being used to spy on you and build profiles of you.
Technology companies have so much data about you that it may know even more than Facebook or Google does. Your shopping history alone provides these companies with so many data points that they could easily formulate a profile on everything you like, dislike, and even who you are.
Now, with this kind of smart technology in your home, they know so much more. Just think about this. Smart technology responds to every and any request you give them, whether it be intentional or not. They can record seconds of audio before a command, which could easily give them even more information that you would rather they didn't have.
As more and more households get comfortable with technology that relies on voice recognition, the data that these cloud services collect will grow exponentially. So not only will smart technology know all about you, it'll know everything about your family, your friends, and even your pets.
Every secret you have, crime you've committed, lie you've told, place that you've shopped, and everything that you've ever posted or liked will be used by these technology company web services to hook you in. If that sounds like a horrible Black Mirror episode, then you should be on your toes, because while all you see is an innocent speaker, every inkling of data is being uploaded to an invisible cloud that you'll never see. Your family might not know your deepest, darkest secrets, but I bet these companies do.
On the show this week, we're here to discuss the idea that your household technology spies on you. Please welcome to the show Rowan Prosser and Jack Collins. Guys, lovely to have you.
Thanks for having me. How's it going, fellas?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, it's going good.
Thank you for joining us.
So,
Mary.
AI. Spying on us.
Where to start? I mean, it's truly kind of terrifying at the moment because, you know, it used to be a thing that was not accessible to everyone. It used to be quite an upper class, you know, quite an expensive piece of technology. But now you've got, it's in everything. It's in phones. It's in speakers. It's on every corner shop. You can get it from as cheap as probably £10, £20. So the fact that it's so accessible now means that, you know, nobody is safe from the effects of it. Really,
It's all over the gaff.
Exactly.
No.
You can't go anywhere where they might not be, you know, they might be listening to you
Chaos.
anyway.
Big brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's cameras absolutely everywhere. I mean, you're not off a camera at least once a day. I mean,
Literally.
You know, that's a frightening thought. I mean, your thoughts on this?
I mean, it is, as Rowan said, it's a very scary thought. It's literally in every part of daily life now. It's in homes with families who have little children. I mean, some of them don't even have phones yet, don't even have technology. There's already data on them, which is actually quite a scary thought.
But do you think that this has now made people lazy at a cost?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely become so convenient to have all of this technology. Like, you know, you can be lying in your bed now and just yell out a command and it plays music or it orders your food or anything. These simple commands just makes life so much easier, which makes us believe that we have this sense of control, when really it's building up all this data to the fact where it can use that to control you in the way that you're shopping online, in the way that what you listen to in music.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, obviously playlists, obviously.
Sorry, hold that thought, because that is terrifying. And deserves to go on none other than the mystery board.
No, the mystery board.
So if you excuse me,
bring it out. Bring it out.
I need to jot this down.
Okay.
Because this is chaos.
Okay.
Insane.
So obviously we have phones. I think most probably is the biggest thing when it comes to technology, with the ability to spy on us, from social media to the ability to be able to obviously know where you are at all times, being able to track it.
Yeah.
With that, obviously, you get smart watches as well. All these things are obviously there. Now, obviously, they can be used obviously for good things. As we know, we can obviously, if we lose our phone, we can find our phone again.
Yeah.
But it can also be used for bad as well, and that obviously is the more of the concern.
I mean, as Rowan was saying, it's literally everything you do is just you giving them freely giving them the information to tailor what they want you to see. So if you buy a train ticket or you buy a pair of shoes, they're automatically going to start advertising those things directly towards your social media, what you see on the internet, what pops up on your phone. That's automatically put there for you. It's not giving you the choice of what you want to see. It just automatically.
It's disgusting.
put
I
there for
mean,
you.
where is the line?
Yeah.
What is independence anymore?
Exactly.
Everyone's just telling us what to do.
It can easily link in with things like addiction as well. Like, you know, people are not safe from the effects of, you know, if you're constantly being marketed the thing that, you know, you struggle with the most, how are you supposed to avoid it?
No, I mean
Especially Easter coming up, trying to burn some calories. Every left, right, and centre, you're seeing Easter eggs.
These are all obviously very fair points, obviously, to do with this situation. I mean, with social media being such a huge thing nowadays, you are looking at not having any secrets. And I mean, I don't know how old you two are, guys, but I'm guessing you're at an age where secrets might be something from your family, might be something that you might want to keep, and knowing that these people know the secret, that must be quite frightening.
And not just that they know it, that they're freely able to sell it if they want to.
Yeah.
They can use it.
Yeah. So I mean, how does that make you feel about
it's terrifying.
situation?
I mean, everyone's got secrets they don't want people knowing. It's just part of life nowadays.
Okay.
Digital carnage.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
So basically,
That's
it's
what I would call it.
absolutely terrifying is basically what we're saying, and it is possible to happen. Well, thank you for joining us on the show, guys. You've shown us some very good points here today. Now, next up, we will be reading out your tweets from last week's show. Fascinating stuff. We're coming to the end of the show now, but before we leave, our audience at home tweeted in about the topics that we discussed last week, including the Donald Trump time-travelling conspiracy and the mysterious murder of JFK. This is what you had to say. Nathan J. Marriott says he believes that life is a simulation.
Do you, Nathan? Do you?
He does.
Toot Time says they really like the show. Well, thanks a lot, Toot Time. I really appreciate it.
Magda Geik states that she thinks the show is brilliant and the points are intriguing. Well, I'm glad someone does. That's good. That's
Joyous news. James PW says, what happened to the Malaysian plane? You tell me, James, because that really is a mystery that we can't really get behind.
No, and finally, at B Tail By says, what is behind Area 51? Well, that is the question, isn't it? What is behind Area 51?
Because a lot of people want to know what's in it.
Yeah.
But behind it, who knows?
I'm going to go with Sands.
Area 52.
I'm going to go Sands.
Yeah.
Maybe Sands. Or maybe a car park.
Could be a car
Might
park.
be a car park
That would
behind
make
Area
a lot
51.
of sense, you know.
But in Area 51, I think it's most probably questionable stuff.
Yeah, a lot of raised eyebrows in that whole area.
No, so, but thank you, everybody. No, cheers. And thank you for your tweets, and we will read out more next week as well. So,
unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. What was your favourite part of the show? Let us know by sharing your thoughts on Twitter @_BTM Show. And we may just be reading out your thoughts on next week's episode.
and if you can't wait until next week's show, take a look at our Instagram to see more exclusive behind the scenes of Behind the Mystery.
Now that's it for this week. We will see you next week to talk about aviation and mysteries of the sky.
Ooh.
And have a brand new crime scene to dissect. Thanks for joining us.
We will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.